Hawks fans are livid. Hawks fans are livid about this as we all sat here and watched what we both just watched. And I can't front you, man. I am upset, but that is okay. My man, Chris Tipmore is here today, and I am here to talk to you guys about what has gone on because, listen, it has been it just hurts me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard. There's Chris Tipmore. This is Hawks Digest. First of all, let me go ahead and get your name up really quick, Chris. My apologies, brother.
Where my name at, man? Dang.
There you go. It's been a tough night. It's been a really tough night, man. Let's get into it because let's go ahead and just first dive into our takeaways of tonight's game. Obviously, these are our Atlanta Hawks. They have fell to the Miami Heat 123-114 in the AC game of the play-in tournament. Chris, how did that?
2 chances.
How in the hell did this happen?
We went on a losing streak at the wrong time, y'all. I'm talking about we really did this back-to-back games. This time, it was a better effort. I will say that, being at home in front of that home crowd, that was probably like the loudest I've heard that home crowd be probably like since 2021. Honestly, I hate to say it, but it's true.
In a play-in tournament situation, really?
Yeah, just like in a high stakes, you know what I'm saying? Even, just high stakes were like really, like it's been a minute, maybe you can say that series when we were playing against Boston, but at the same time, it wasn't like a whole lot of hype. Like the fans were there. Everybody was on their feet. They were hyped. You could see it.
Winning the overtime, of course.
Yeah, of course. And I believe that the Hawks did, ride that wave of the fans and everything like that to actually take a lead in this game and give, Miami a scare. But ultimately, the way we started the game, that first half was ugly for us.
So real quick, before you dive into it, because I know you're ready to just jump into it. Let's go ahead and get into our takeaways, because obviously that's where Chris is going. Let's dive into our takeaways of tonight's game, and let's just start with the first quarter. I know Chris was definitely getting into that. Talk about that first quarter. How in the hell did that even happen? How we got off into a slow? It's too consistent. I know I've asked for consistency with the Atlanta Hawks, but for some reason, it's in the wrong areas. They start off in the first quarter just in a terrible way. Chris, what in the heck happened there, brother?
We couldn't knock down shots. We were 1 for 10, and that was 10%. You know what I'm saying? From three. So then you also shooting 36% from the field. But you got Miami who's shooting 53% from the field. Like they were just, the bottom line was they were playing at their pace. They were more aggressive than us. Of course, being physical with Trae, being physical just period, and it would work for them in the first quarter. We could knock down shots. And it's just, regardless, if you don't knock down shots, it's going to be hard to beat anybody, And at one point in time, the starting unit outside of 00 was 4 for 24.
Right. For just 4 for 24 from the field, just in general. Because one thing I saw that again, one of my takeaways was just 3-point attempts. Though we did down the stretch start to make certain 3-pointers, and some of them started to fall. We started to see them drop. Shouts out to Caris LeVert, who did do a good job at some point. Shouts out to George Niang, who did have some fall. But for me, it was the ill-advised shots along with just not getting to a good start. And that has been the crux of this season, unfortunately, is the fact that the starts have just been slow, especially in these play-in tournaments.
Well, also you got to take into account of this. Just imagine how bad this game would have been if in the first half, George Niang and Caris LeVert didn't step up off the bench. If Onyeka Okongwu wasn't having the game that he was, and shout out to him. But that first half, it was tough because we only hit 5 threes in the first half. And we were shooting like 37% at the end, from the field, it's at the end of the first half. But again, George Niang brought the energy. Caris LeVert was able to create his own shot. And really just about everybody else was kind of off. Trae was 2-11. Dyson Daniels was nowhere to be found in the first half. Zaccharie Risacher and Mo G they had bad games. You know, the
They
moment looked a little bit.
disappeared, and I mean, I
Bro,
can't
the
blame them.
moment looked too big for him.
Can't
The
blame.
moment looked too big.
I can't blame the guy. He's rookie, of course. I mean, not
Right.
to, and I don't want to sound like a sympathist for Risacher, but you know, I mean, because obviously having a bad game is not conducive to what we wanted. We wanted him to step up. Of course, a 30-point night would have been awesome from him, but the fact that he disappeared, and you saw how it transpired over into the coaches as far as how they coached the game. Of course, Zaccharie Risacher ended up with only 16 minutes. Him along with Mo Gay, 16, 15 minutes. They had to take him out of the game. There was no way that they could stay in the game with little offensive production. But I think another takeaway
Zach
that
was trying. My goodness,
yeah,
Zach was trying.
He was.
But he was trying to contribute, and he only could muster up him and Moji. Yeah, you know, in two halves, could only muster up 3 points. I think each, a total of 6 between the two.
I think ultimately a takeaway that I definitely get to is that we're small. We're small.
Mean, well, yeah, of
we're
course,
not tough enough. Respectfully, I remember this reminds me of when the Falcons had Mike Smith at head coach, and of course, I know I'm going into another sport, but Mike Smith came out and he said, "We're not tough. We're not a tough Falcons team." Respectfully to the Hawks, we are not a tough team. We allowed 2 teams in a play-in tournament situation to bully us. And you saw it in the video that I had with the creator, Patrick Previty from Orlando Magic's Digest. He said, if they can't shoot, they would bully us. And what did Paolo Banchero do? What's the other guy's name? Franz Wagner. What did he do?
Yeah.
They bullied us.
But the crazy thing about that is the Hawks actually did decent on Paolo and Franz. It was freaking Wendell Carter Jr. coming out of nowhere with almost nearly 20 points. Then you got Cole Anthony.
Right.
The man did not score in double digits for like his last 10, 11 games. Then next thing you know, he drops 26. Riding on 26s on us.
Riding on 26s, that's a good one.
I'm just saying, bro. Come on now. We can't operate like that. Not to mention 16 points, only missing 1 shot from Anthony Black. Yeah. So it's just at the end of all, it was a team loss, you know, because you did okay with these guys, but the others is we always hear about the others, and this be the others when it comes to us. Tonight was similar, you know, so it's like Miami took a similar game plan and approach, you know, so with that, and unfortunately, you know, the Hawks did figure some things out. They were able to in the second half make this a game. They did, you know. So I credit them for, you know, being able to do that, come back, fight in the second half. Trae had a better second half. Really, the whole team did, you know, because why? We started playing our type of basketball. We was getting out in transition, getting out in pace, grabbing steals, being able to get those quick points, good quick transition points against Miami.
And it also helps with Onyeka Okongwu putting up 28 points and also 4 for 8 from 3. Seeing him shoot the ball like that, I was so happy and impressed.
One of the brightest spots you can possibly say was Onyeka Okongwu tonight. Just overall,
give him
played,
a round of applause.
And he played 49 freaking minutes. That's tough.
It has it on the stat sheet at 50 minutes, but who's counting?
Hey, at the end of the day, regardless, that's unheard. That just lets you know that he was our only line of defense.
Right.
On both ends of the floor. He was our only line of defense and offense.
3 steals,
and Moji
1 block,
and Risha
28
and
points.
Moji couldn't. Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. 12 rebounds. Yeah, you said 28 points.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, come on now.
4 the only other person 3, 12 for 19 from the field. He definitely showed.
And he looked confident shooting those threes too.
Absolutely. Yes, he did.
Especially that last one in the corner when actually Bam had a good closeout.
That he
and
did.
Onyeka still knocked down. I was like, hey, find Yek in the corner. What y'all doing?
But we're still, but the thing is, Chris, I understand where you're coming from, where you point out, yes, we didn't necessarily get bullied per se. I still think we did get bullied. I do feel as though we did get bullied down in Orlando. But the fact still remains that, you know, the others, like you said, the others stepped up in a major way. This game, of course, Really quick, let me pull it up. It was what's the guy's name?
Davion Mitchell.
Davion Mitchell, 40 minutes, 16 points, 4 for 9 from 3. And the thing is, it's not that he did outstanding. You know, it wasn't that he did anything that just amazed us. It was the fact that he hit the points and the shots at the specific time, at the right time for Miami. And that's what really got me, is how he was able to do those things.
We basically got beat by him and Tyler Hero. I mean, Andrew Wiggins had got like a bucket.
Yeah.
But it was Hero and Mitchell, and it was all threes.
I mean, also the second chance points. That's something that I've oftentimes said you have to eliminate. And I don't want to seem like I'm bagging on the Hawks because, first of all, good season. I want to say, first of all, great season by the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, it definitely ended in a terrible way. Again, we got up as far as number 5 in the standings, and then again, the bottom failed out. And I mean, with injuries piling up. I mean, it felt like watching the varsity see the junior varsity play with all of the guys in street clothes on the bench. You know, if
bro,
you saw,
we looked like we was waiting to get, bro. Them guys looked like they was waiting to get in the club.
Right.
I'm talking about, it was so many guys in street clothes over there. JJ, Kobe, Keaton, Clint, Larry.
Nance,
Larry
Nance.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's 5 guys. Bro, I just named a second unit.
Basically, you sure did.
Like,
so it's
like, what in the world? Like, I would have took out a loan.
Yeah.
Just to have JJ and CC or JJ and Larry Nance. This is a totally different game. Honestly, this is a totally different play-in.
Yeah, it is. This is the first time, obviously, that a number 10 seed has won their way into the playoffs. So major shouts out to Miami for doing that. But
Spoelstra, man.
Yeah, it is. It does, again, point to the fact that we do need to get bigger. We do need to have somebody in the paint that can get the ball, that can grab the ball, that can limit, not eliminate, but limit second chance opportunities, because that's also what I saw, was that the second chance opportunities that were given to the Miami Heat. And what is the tall guy? I heard one of the announcers call him Baby Wembanyama just because of how long.
Talking about where? Talking about where?
Yeah, for Miami. It just, again, how long he is. And again, it's just the Atlanta Hawks are not big enough. Respectfully, I don't think Onyeka Okongwu, and this isn't limiting what he is capable of, because I see that Onyeka Okongwu is capable of a lot, but the fact is he's not capable of doing what he did tonight and guarding, protecting the rim, blocking, this, that, and the third. We need a rim protector, which brings me to a point that I wanted to talk to you about, Chris. Tonight, you said that we were hoping for the Grizzlies to beat the Mavericks. Help me understand, because I know I had talked about it as far as the picks.
Right.
And, just talk to me about that, my man.
Well, I did see that. I know you were saying you wanted people to talk to you like a third grader. I'm going to talk to you like a man. I ain't going to talk to you like
I appreciate that.
It just, at the end of the day, like, coming into this game, we needed to win. And then if we just won, everything would have been, fine. But now, since we've lost this game, we need Memphis to win in order for Dallas to be in the top 12 in the lottery, so we can still be able to get, in the top that pick.
Okay.
But if we both lose, like if Memphis loses tonight, then Atlanta and Sacramento will have to flip that coin for the best possible chances. Yeah, that's where the flip of the coin comes in. Because, everybody lost. Like, we lost, the Kings lost, the team, Memphis, and we needed Memphis to win. And I believe right now Memphis is ahead, but we got to root for them very hard, because there's nothing we can do about the San Antonio pick. The San Antonio Spurs, as nasty as those fans have been, they're going to be able to get our pick.
Okay.
And it's going to be somewhere in that top 12. And, of course, they're going to have an opportunity to possibly be in the lottery, et cetera, et cetera. So there's nothing we can do about that. Only thing we can do is root for Memphis in order so we can get that Kings pick in the top 12 and, at least be able to salvage something out of the draft, because, we got the Lakers pick later on. but to have something in that juicy range, that's where Atlanta, still trying to have something. So
Right.
yes, root for Ja, root
Yeah,
for
yeah, root for
root for
Ja.
all those guys.
Root for Ja.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it puts a
I
sour
hate
taste
being
in
in
our
this
mouth.
situation.
Yeah,
I hate being.
it reminds me of last year again, being in the situation versus. And I said to you pre-production, I didn't want, not today, but prior to, I talked. Actually, it wasn't pre-production. It was just in conversation, just through our day and stuff. We talked. Yes, people, we talk to each other outside of here, but I told you I didn't want to see Chicago, mainly because they were doing so well. But obviously, the way Miami plays, they have definitely gotten themselves into a situation where they become the first number 10 seed to win themselves into the playoffs. Of course, play-in tournament started in 21 or 22 or something like that. So this is the first time that this thing has ever happened, and it's definitely, again, it just puts a sour taste in my mouth from last year, because we lost to Chicago and being eliminated in the play-in round. We lost again this year, being eliminated in the play-in round. The only silver lining to any of this is that guys like Mo Gay and Zaccharie Risacher, along with Dyson Daniels, have all gained some form of experience.
Yep.
And hopefully this can charge them up. But this gentleman right here, okay, Landry Fields, has some work to do going into the draft this year.
Also, think about this. Onyeka got some quality minutes as a starter.
Yes, he did.
Well, in this type of situation.
For sure, for sure.
Before, he would be, of course, in the backup, but now it's more responsibility. So, yeah, really even 4 guys.
Right. I mean, and normally this kind of situation is something that you see on recap videos or stuff like that, where they talk about how a team was they lost out in the first round of something like that, or got swept, and then the next year they become the number 1 seed, ergo Cleveland. So you see how something like that can happen. But again, Landry Fields is going to have to get on his job, and I think he's done a good job so far. This is not me bagging on him, but I feel as though he's definitely going to have to bring somebody in that can dominate the paint. That is the weakest point for the Atlanta Hawks. Our paint presence is sorely lacking. I'm sorry, I'm not bagging on George Niang, but even down in Miami, he had a tough time containing their bigs. You dig what I'm saying?
I mean, you can't. One thing about it, and that's why, I'm so high on Onyeka.
Yes,
Still at least being with this team, I'm pretty sure they're going to give him the starting job
for sure.
But I'm high on Onyeka because I know, even though what he lacks in size, he gives an effort.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's because at the end of the day, because he can't grow any taller, so he's going to have to give me effort.
Right.
Onyeka has been given effort. Onyeka, we have been a better defensive team, so with Onyeka being there and being able to evolve in his role. Now we just need guys like JJ. You know what I'm saying? I know Clint probably gone, he's played his last I was about to say last down, his last game as a Hawk probably weeks ago.
Yeah.
But some guys like Garrison Matthews, etc., like those guys. So like you said, we do have some things we have to do and address in the offseason. Getting another big man is one of those things. The free agent pool, and we'll get into that this offseason,
because we got a lot of expiring contracts going into the offseason.
Right. So, but I still think, man, we need to try to see about possibly drafting the center. It would be cheaper, we can have them, develop them, give them some playing time, bring them along however you want to, more so than give up any draft capital, something that we barely have to begin with, for anybody, because everybody's going to try to snatch away whatever they possibly can, because, everything is strategy too. Some teams will try to say, hey, man, we're going to snatch this away from you, snatch that away from you. Now you don't have anything. Let's see how you be able to maintain this team, without draft picks and capital and all that jazz. Yeah, man. But
it's a lot. My apologies. I think I tuned out for a second, but
man, this Hawks game would do that to you, man. Let me ask you.
Technical glitch. It was a glitch. It was a glitch. It was a technical issue.
Let me ask you this though.
Okay, go ahead.
Am I tripping?
Okay.
Or could the Atlanta Hawks could have won this game in regulation.
They definitely could have. I think Trae was being smart instead of going for, because again,
I'm not talking about the layup. I'm not even talking about that. Like, kudos to Trae
for sure.
First of all, kudos. I will give Quin Snyder and the inbound play this. I loved it because it gave Trae an opportunity to go back into the backcourt and get like a full running start.
Right.
And, and that was another thing that helped him against Andrew
Right.
Wiggins, because I knew they was going to throw Andrew Wiggins at him.
A bigger
Right.
player. We need bigs.
And then when he was able to get to the cup, he looked at Wiggins and everything to see how far the distance was. Wiggins, was able to, lay the ball
lay it up for sure.
That was credit to Trae. But I'm talking about when the Hawks took that lead and Miami called timeout, came out, Davion Mitchell hits the three. I know Tyler Hero got a three as well. Or no, it wasn't a three. He hit a two and then hit another one, and it made it 99-98. That whole time right there, the in between those sequence, there was a few shots that the Atlanta Hawks took.
Yes.
That I feel like shouldn't have been taken. Like,
it was ill-advised.
George Niang, that one in transition where he just pulls up and nobody's under the rim. I'm just like, I feel like we could have got a better shot.
It's definitely the ill-advised 3-pointers.
I understand that we was on a heater and it was kind of like riding the wave. We was riding the wave, right? But it's like at the same time, after the timeout, it's like, okay, let's see what kind of defense they're going to come at. Let's see what kind of offense they're going to try to, an attack with. And I just feel like, we kept trying to ride the wave. I feel like we could have won this game in regulation.
I feel like we definitely should have. And two, I was watching the game with my wife, and something to point out was that I was in knots because they would bring the game within 3, bring the game within 6.
Mm-hmm.
They bring it to single digits, and then they would allow. It wasn't that Miami was better. They allowed Miami to get open shots. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, it's just they allowed these things to get far away. And one of the things that, again, irritated me was the fact that just the allowance of how they allowed Miami to dictate the game. And then the ill-advised shots, turnovers, giving the empty possessions.
Going under screens instead of going over the top of screens.
Yeah, going over the top of screens, forcing them down instead of giving them that open 3-pointer. But again, shooting these ill-advised 3-pointers, giving Miami you know what I'm saying? Giving the possessions back to Miami. It was all over the place. Many people on the outside end would definitely say that Trae wants out. I mean, he still has, I think, another year or so, 2 years on his contract.
Got another year.
It would definitely behoove the Atlanta Hawks to re-sign him. Again, we can go over it's so many different things to talk about, Chris. But final thoughts really quickly before we get out of here, because it was a lot.
Well, to your point about getting close every time and everything and not being able to fully execute, the comeback, it's been like that, for some time
since
now.
Jalen was out, since Jalen's been out.
We just don't have like enough. Like, we'll get there and then a team will like kind of start feeling like they're playing keep away with us.
Right.
And everything, we'll get the points even when stuff starts to fall. We just don't have the defense to be able to stop them enough times so we can be able to fully complete the comeback and stay on top.
For sure.
So it has been tough about that, man. So that's something that's going to have to be addressed. Guys will get better, so this experience, like we said earlier, was good for those 4 guys, especially the rookie, Zaccharie Risacher, Dyson Daniels, even though Dyson has played in the play-in before, still just to get more experience and high level competition like that. It's different when it's something on the line. So good experience for those guys, but this is a tough pill to swallow. And of course, we're running out of time.
Yeah, they're giving us a sign again.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this. Thank you, everybody, for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Definitely keep viewing. We definitely want you guys to keep doing that. But as far as the Hawks are concerned, a lot of work that needs to be done. We'll still be here. We'll definitely be covering all of what's going to be going on during and during the playoffs. I mean, of course, we'll be talking about it amongst ourselves, but as far as the draft and things of that such, we'll be definitely talking to you guys for sure, because it's a lot that's going on. Chris, it was a good season, but it definitely ended with a sour taste.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. It just makes you sick to your stomach again, because it just seems like, bro, we just every single year, like we just go through so many injuries, and it seems like it all only happens to us.
Right,
But
right.
every team goes through it. But hey,
It is what
we're
it
gonna have to
is.
get better. We're gonna have to get better, man. We're gonna have to make some moves. We're gonna have to try to stay healthy. And at the end of the day, man, like you said, we're gonna be here to still continue to support the team and talk about moves that's gonna be made, need to be made, may be made, and et cetera, man. And thank you to everybody for liking and subscribing, making Atlanta Hawks Digest one of your first listens. When you need that Hawks content.
Yeah, for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Chris Tip Moore. My name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest. And like I say all the time, I'm signing out. Peace.